Well, all right, we should be streaming. Give me a moment here. We're going to see if my stream is actually up and running. I'm going to have a bit of an intro that we're going to walk through, which is going to take probably about a minute for us to do. So if you catch us here in the future, you know the score, you can skip ahead if you like and catch up with me after the bumps. But for those that are trapped here in space-time with me here and now, I'll say, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And we are creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today we're going to be working on Bastion Campaigns. Bastion Campaigns is a concept back from the day of BECME and 1st edition, where your characters gain dominion over a territory, and begin making decision makers, basically as the lords of that land. And so in 5th edition, an idea of that has been brought back for characters to have a hideout or a base of operations that Wizards is calling bastions. But there's not a lot of decision making that happens involved with these bastions, and they don't naturally generate adventure hooks or deepen the level of play. They're kind of a tack-on system that's supposed to stay in the background that ultimately just gives your characters more magic items and money. So it's kind of thin. I've been running games since 1987. I've been creating content. I've been a freelance illustrator since '99, and I've been making content on the DMsGuild since 2018. Just to wrap up my intro here, let me flip my screen around here. Here on the YouTubes, hey, new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a playlist, here's a list of all different types of books that I've created on the DMsGuild so far. You can check all these out. They're free previews. Here's my Discord community if you want to hang out with us. And here is the playtest document that we're going to use today. Again, all you gotta do is click here. It'll pop open this Google Doc. It'll be a read-only document for you, but this is the living document that we are actively working in. The idea behind the Bastion Campaigns is that we take the nugget of an idea that Wizards provided for us and convert it into an adventure hook generator based on the decisions that the player is making on behalf of the Bastion to interact with the world at like a geopolitical or more of a national or organizational level than the characters interact with the world at an individual level. So this allows your characters starting at level 1 to be part of a facility or an organization or a guild or a settlement that has resources poured into it in the form of bastion points that are allocated to have different types of facilities or to issue orders to the bastion to perform tasks like create items, empower magic items, research information, create a trade route or connect resources between different communities. Now, these are some of the ideas that we come up with, and the way that it's structured is as skill challenges. So your bastion has the bastion itself makes ability checks. When you issue an order to a bastion, you're having it roll a, issuing orders. When a bastion is issued an order, make a d20 test, adding your bastion ranks to the result. Compare the bastion's score to the DC of the order to determine if the bastion succeeds the d20 test. Orders can be issued in any combination, including issuing the same order multiple times. Bastion dice. If the bastion has a facility that improves a specific type of order, add the bastion die to the d20 test based on the number of points that have improved the order up to the rank of the bastion. So you can put up to, you can have more points than ranks. It's just you only get credit. You can only improve your die up to the rank of your bastion. So there's 5 ranks of bastion. On a scale of 1 to 5. So we already know you roll a d20 and you add the rank of your bastion. So at like level 1, when you start off, if you want to start scratch beginning, your bastion would roll a 1 plus d20 plus 1. And then, like, for example, if you're crafting magic, like if you're crafting armor and you have one rank, if you have bastion points invested like in a smithy that can craft armor, then you roll your d20 plus 1 for the rank, and then d4 plus d4 because you have bastion points invested into crafting. So you'd roll a d20, you'd roll a d4, add the 1, and the result that you get, you're looking for a score somewhere between 10 and 30. There's 5 degrees of success in D&D that are already mentioned in the DMG. Simple task is a difficulty of 10. Nearly impossible is 30, and then you have 3 scales in between. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. These are the 5 main difficulty numbers or target numbers that you're trying to hit in Dungeons and Dragons to achieve things on a scale of 10 to 30 in basically every 5. So on a scale of 1 to 5, matching the rank of bastions, 5th rank bastion can achieve difficulty of 30. A rank 4 bastion can, but you have to basically roll like an 18 on the d20 and a 9 or a 10 on the bastion die to be able to hit that DC 30. So it's highly unlikely that you're going to be able to do so, but you got basically a 25% chance at 5th rank. It never really gets better. So difficulty of 30. The nearly impossible is just simply improbable to a global organization, the scale of what a 5th rank bastion would be. But as you issue these orders and you attempt to accomplish these tasks, if you hit the number that you want, you achieve the thing that you were looking to do. If you fail the die roll, it doesn't mean that the task doesn't succeed. It means that a complication has occurred that prevents you from succeeding at that task until the complication is resolved. Sometimes it just requires you to issue an additional order to your bastion from a different angle to basically aid, to help out whatever that check is. Like if you fail the crafting check on making the armor because of, like, say, a resource complication, it could be that you just don't have enough, like you don't have iron of a high enough quality to be able to make the type of armor that you want. So the complication is that you need better resources, which your team could then turn into an adventure to go out and establish a new trade route with better merchants, or secure a mine that can provide a higher quality iron for your smithies, or you could relegate that as a separate order to have your bastion then go out and establish that trade route as another bastion check. And if that check succeeds, then you establish the you establish the new resources, the new materials coming to your facility. You can then complete your armor. So like you would issue one order to craft the armor, and if that check failed, then you could order a second issue to resolve whatever the complication with the crafting was. In this instance, we're talking about harvesting better iron so that you can build the plate mail that you need. So instead of taking one issue, instead of issuing only one order to complete that armor, because you failed the die roll, it creates a complication that's now eating 2 orders, or you send your adventurers off on an adventure to resolve, like the quest, to be able to resolve that so that you can have better quality iron, or whatever the complication is. It becomes an adventure. So you have those 2 choices, and you can only send your adventurers on one complication, or you can only have characters on one adventure at a time. So if you have multiple complications that are arising because you've issued multiple tasks that have all failed, you've now got a backlog of orders that can't be fulfilled until the complications are resolved. So at the end of your bastion turn, which is typically a week, if all the complications haven't been resolved, then basically that order that you issued for that thing that failed is basically burned. And you got no benefit from it because you weren't able to resolve the complication. It kind of just hangs out there as an ongoing complication until you either let the task go so you can reclaim that order and issue something else, or your team goes on an adventure to resolve it, or you dedicate additional orders to try to have your bastion resolve it on their own. So that's the general idea of how the system works. But then the fun part of the gamification of it is in establishing these different facilities inside of your bastion to do different things. So we've spent a number of episodes at this point working through the different type of orders that can be issued, or rather the different ways that the different facilities that can be in your Bastion. And we wanted to take a little extra time here. We're going to continue working on that process. So let's see, where are we at right now? So we've figured out the things that you can do with orders that are issued so far through facilities. We know that a facility is in here. Let's just grab a facility so we know what we're talking about here. Here's all the different facilities that we've come up with so far and the different type of orders that can be issued to them. And then we break down the actual features themselves. So facilities are basically broken down to what orders they can improve, what passive benefits do your characters or the Bastion itself receive for having that facility established. So like we chose this facility, what passive benefits do we get from it? And then there's downtime activities, which are things that characters can specifically do in that facility if they spend a downtime turn a week at your Bastion in this particular facility. Like if you wanted to make that suit of armor yourself, then you would spend your downtime activity in the smithy creating that magic item. That would be a downtime activity that you could perform in that facility. So that would eat up like your character's allocation. And then there's facility orders, which is if you issue an order to a facility, what is that facility capable of doing for you or your characters or for the Bastion? So these are the four classifications, basically the four classifications of what facilities, like why you would want a facility. Like why would I want an observatory as opposed to a laboratory? Because they improve different orders, they provide different passive benefits, they offer different downtime activities, and you can issue different orders to those two different types of facilities to do things. So there's a lot of diversity. You could have two things that are pretty similar to each other, but they could have variations, and like they might have similar orders that can improve, but they might have very different passive benefits or orders that can be issued to them. So there's crafting. There's only 7 orders issued by according to the DMG, and we're keeping it that way. So crafting is issue a craft order to create a non-magical item. That's generally what. While empowering is issue an empower order to create a magical item, craft is issue a craft order to create a non-magical item. That's generally what crafting does. But there's so many things that you can make. That's actually a lot. Then we limit, depending on what the facility is, we limit on what things that you can, like you can't make poison in a blacksmith shop, for instance. That doesn't make any sense. But both a blacksmith shop and a laboratory can contribute to improving your crafting, your rank of crafting in the Bastion. But if you don't have a laboratory, like if you only have a smithy, you're only making smithy stuff like horseshoes and armor and like cheap weapons, like simple weapons. But you need like an armory to be able to make like martial weapons. That's actually a really good point of to distinguish from each other. So let's see. Empower is you can either create magic items or you can bestow boons upon creatures. These are orders that you would issue. But this might actually be like not necessarily an order. We might have to redefine that because generally you get a boon on a character if the character stays there as their downtime activity. So sometimes you have to. We're weighing that out. That's currently what we're weighing out. Like, would that be an order that we would issue to a sacristy that can bless a character, or would that be a downtime activity that the character spends time at the sacristy to gain the blessing? It's and the end result is character gets a blessing, but it's how does the facility empower the character with that boon? Is it through an order that we issue to bless this character, or is it simply your character being there, they become blessed? Or is it both? They have to be there for the full week, and you have to issue an order to bless them specifically because they are here. Like that's the debate that we are literally right now having with the facilities that exist. So we're breaking down how these different areas operate. So let's see, where are we at inside here? What are we doing with this? This is downtime activities. There you go. So these were the different downtime activities that we were able to parse. We got to the meditation chamber. So let's go back here and go down to the meditation chamber and look again at the downtime activities. We got down to the meditation chamber. So, and then downtime activity in the meditation chamber is a character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of a divine charm, like we were just talking about. And so the maximum charm level that can be empowered is determined by the number of bastion points expended to improve the empower order of this facility. Now, one charm can be active per character at a time from the list below up to the character's level. Character level, charm level, bastion points. So I have to have, if I have a 9th level character, I have to have spent 3 bastion points in this facility for my characters to stay here. They would then be able to get up to, like I have to have at least 1 point spent for me to have a meditation chamber here at all. So I get bastion points, and then I spend those bastion points to create facilities inside of the bastion, or to hold those bastion points as like inspiration dice that I can spend to either gain additional orders or to reroll orders or whatever it is, like different ways to spend them as a meta currency. So you either invest those points into facilities that remain active and those points get locked up in your facilities, or they remain a floating pool of points that you can spend to do more stuff with your bastion than usual. Once you get to 5th rank as a bastion, like at 17th level characters, and you've got all of your facilities maxed out, if you're still accumulating points at that point, at that time, you would then spend those accumulating extra bastion points to basically have more influence, to like invest those points into creating additional bastions at different locations, and then network them together to start building like a franchise empire, or however it is that you want to narrate it. But you can spend bastion points to create bastions, create facilities inside of those bastions, and to use them as a meta currency to spend to help further the goals and issue additional orders to your bastion. That's the idea. So, so the way that we're wording this is you have to have a character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of a divine charm. The maximum charm level that can be empowered is determined by the number of bastion points expended. The number of bastion points expended to improve orders. So the debate here is, so we can improve, the meditation can improve recruiting and it can improve empowering. And so the unique feature of empower is when you make an empower check to bestow a boon upon a character or to resolve a complication, you can roll an additional bastion die adding the highest result. But I don't think we actually have to make an empowered check to bestow a boon upon a creature, because that's a downtime activity. It doesn't actually require a die roll. This is just something that your character invests their time and they get the benefit from. So that's actually not an accurate expression there. It's like we're going to have to, when making an empower check. This is an order issue, which is when you make a die roll, when you issue the empower. Like if you're trying to make a magic item, there's a DC you have to hit to successfully make that magic item without complication. But if the downtime activity doesn't actually require any orders, there's no complication. So your characters are guaranteed to get that thing, which would definitely be a downtime benefit because it doesn't require anything. But that also means that maybe we don't need to be so strict on how the points are spent. So we can improve both empower and, like if I had a 3rd rank bastion, I could put 3 points into empower and I could put 3 points into recruit. So if my 3rd rank bastion were to make a bastion check to try to recruit somebody, I would have a D8, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. I would add a D8 plus 3 to my D20 to trigger the result. For me to empower, do I actually need to have ranks of empower? Like, I might not need to have empower listed for the downtime activity, because if downtime activities don't require die rolls, then that means I don't have to spell out that this is an empower thing. It's just simply a downtime activity, as a character can spend a bastion turn to determine a downtime activity using a facility to gain the benefits of a charm. So then I could say the maximum charm level that that can be character gains the benefit. The maximum level of the charm, like the maximum level of the charm, is determined by the number of bastion points expended to improve the facility. So then if it's just improving the facility, we could put points, like 2 points into empower and 3 points into recruit, and that's a total of 5 points that have been put into the meditation chamber as a whole. So that would mean that with 5 points, if my character is a 17th to 20th level, then I would be able to put an 8th or 9th level charm on that character. Then we have the actual order of recruiting, which is you can issue the recruit order to attract an adept sidekick as a hireling that can accompany your character on adventures. The DC to recruit is based on the level of the sidekick, which cannot exceed the level of the character. So, like, if I wanted to recruit a 15th level adept sidekick, the difficulty would be a 25. And since 3rd rank, that's effectively like 4th rank as a facility. I would, if I have a 4th rank bastion with this, then it would be D20 plus 4 plus D10. So I could potentially get up to a 34, which would be easy for me to be able to pass this. I could technically get a 17th level sidekick, but that if my character's only 14th level, then the sidekick isn't going to stay because that sidekick outranks the character. So you could attract that high of a level, but you don't need to. You'd cap out at your character's level. Hey, Francois, it's good to see you. So that's the debate that we're having is, do these downtime activities need to be pinned to any specific type of order? Because the way that downtime activities are shaking out is that we don't actually have to make a check for your characters to gain the benefit of being being in the facility. So that's the debate. And I first want to make sure that we've gotten all the downtime activities that are listed so far. So as far as I can tell, we left off at the meditation chamber. So there may be other things that are happening. So we're gonna kick through here. You can issue the research order to this facility to research a subject related to the related skill. In addition, when a character spends a bastion turn, see, like, this is a downtime activity here. When a character spends a bastion turn in the library researching a topic, you can issue the research order to add a bastion die to the result of your ability check. But, like, do I really need? Because you only get you only get one. The number of orders that your bastion gets is 1 plus the rank of the bastion. So 1st rank bastion only gets 2 orders. 5th rank bastion gets 6 orders. You can spend additional bastion points to issue additional orders, but assuming you don't have spare points because they've all been expended to improve facilities throughout your bastion, you don't have any spare points laying around, then your character's investing a week of time at the facility, so it doesn't make it's a double cost, both the character's time and an order. That feels like you're double taxing the game system to be able to provide this resource, which is, after all, just a bastion die added to your character's ability check. You may as well have a bard with you, which means that you could do this anywhere. Like, why would you bother doing this at your facility if you don't have any orders available to issue through your bastion to help your character that's hanging out in the library for a week? It's a double tax. Your character may as well just go off to a normal library someplace completely unrelated to that. Why would they hike all the way home to perform this research if they could just do it at any library that's not their own, and they're still just going to make an ability check? So them doing it in their bastion, getting the bastion die added to their research check, or their intelligence check, that makes sense. So it doesn't make sense to force an order to be spent in helping a character do this. They're already investing their time at the facility. That's probably payment enough. There's, the penalty is that you lose that order for the week. When you only have, like, for example, when you only have 2 orders and you aren't sustaining an income, a lifestyle, if you aren't sustaining a lifestyle for your Bastion so that it isn't going bankrupt and getting robbed, you have to spend an order just to maintain a lifestyle for the Bastion. That eats up one of your orders already. That means you only have 1 order left. And if you've got 3 characters that are doing stuff in this Bastion, if one of them just wants to sit down and read a bunch of books with your librarians, does that really mean you need to issue an order for that? And that's the debate. So you're going to run out of orders faster than you're going to run out of stuff you're going to want to do. Because if you have multiple characters that are operating out of the same Bastion, they're going to eat up their orders really quickly. Why wouldn't players just opt for 6 months of downtime in the Bastion? Because each week, when you're issuing orders in the Bastion, each week, a character can just perform research and stay in the Bastion, go right ahead. But all you're doing is researching stuff. So that's fine. That's all your character's doing. And if that means that for 6 months times, say, 4 weeks, that means you've gotten 24 Bastion turns spent researching different subjects. You can go ahead and do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But every week that you spend in your Bastion, there's a potential for an adventure seed to occur, either through a complication from an order that you do issue to the Bastion, or each week there is just a random Bastion event, which could either be a benefit or a complication. And so as complications arise, if you don't send your characters off to solve that complication as an adventure, then you have to issue orders to the Bastion to resolve the complications. And if you only have 2 orders and you just spent one of them to maintain a lifestyle for this season, and you only have 1 order left right now, and then something occurs in your Bastion that creates a complication, you now have to use that last order to try to resolve that complication, or you're going to send your characters on a quest to take care of it for them. So if your character is going to stay in their library for 6 months, they either have to stop researching to go on adventures, or they have to eat up additional orders so they don't have to go on adventures, so they can continue to sit down and research during those 6 months. So it's an issue of can't be everywhere at once. And a way characters can get around not being everywhere at once is by issuing additional orders to the Bastion to go do those things for them. But it's just a single die roll, and if that die roll doesn't hit the DC that you need, it creates another complication. Before you know it, your Bastion can't do anything because it's cursed, infected, people are stealing stuff from it, and ogres are attacking. And your character is still sitting in the library trying to research whatever it is that you're researching. So it creates the whole point of the Bastion campaign is to create events that trigger adventure hooks that drive the characters interacting with the world around them through the Bastion and as emissaries for the Bastion. So that's where your bottleneck comes in. We just bank 1 order to deflect, assuming that you have only 1 complication. So there could be multiple complications, and if you run out of complications, but the idea here is that you start your Bastion. The players are running the campaign through the Bastion. And as the Bastion is attempting to accomplish different tasks, as they run into problems, adventurers get queued up to solve those problems. If the Bastion can solve the problems themselves with additional orders issued to solve those problems, great. But if they run out of resources, they run out of orders that they can issue, then somebody needs to go out and do something about it. Otherwise, nothing's getting done because you've ran out of orders. You don't have any extra spoons left. You can't do anything more. I'm trying to break your game like many players. Yeah, of course. No, this is great. These are great. I don't feel like you're challenging me. You've been here for like 30 episodes. You totally get what the campaign's about. But this is a logic path that you have to follow to see where it's going to lead you. So it's a great question, and it really talks to what's the purpose of running running Bastions this way in the first place, is to generate adventure hooks that your team is theoretically excited to see what the next adventure is, because whatever the outcome of that adventure is drives their Bastion forward and creates a larger world that the Bastion's interacting with through your characters. So you keep an ongoing log of different tasks that have happened, connections that have been made, complications that have been had, and sources of those complications that can start developing a narrative in a procedurally generated campaign world where the Bastion is basically the anchor where all of these events are happening around building your campaign. This is a very expert, like BECME, Basic Expert Companion Masters Immortal BECME system. This is very much in the BECME strata of game, like basic levels like 1 to 3, or levels 1 to 3. The characters are running around dungeons, gaining levels, becoming competent. From level 4 to 13 is the expert set, where your characters amass enough power to start gaining land and reputation and authority over communities, and they start looking to your characters for solutions. 5e doesn't have anything to say about that. They stripped all those ideas away from the game system. So the Bastion campaign is a mean of reasserting those ideas in a 5e mechanical sort of way, using what they gave us in the Bastion campaign in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and then diving deeper into it to make it a skill challenge that can have success or complications that then further drive the adventure. So it's a different style of gameplay that maybe a lot of people that are new to the game, that were introduced to D&D through 5e, might not have ever encountered these ideas before, and instead of leaving 5e to go scratch that itch someplace else because they're looking for something and they don't understand what they're looking for, if this is what they're looking for, then they can keep playing 5e as their favorite game engine, because it's giving them the fantasy characters that they like, and now it's creating the geopolitical sphere that makes the world that much more of an impact, and the characters have that much more of an impact on the world. So that's the idea. So you know this, but yeah, for the viewers at home that are new to the channel, it's a great question, Francois. I appreciate it. So we're looking at downtime activities. I would very much say that this is a downtime task that we're looking at here. So let's drop those down, and we're looking at, there we go, downtime activity. And I think I'm getting to the point where research that we really do not need to have a specific order. Bloop. Research. Choose one skill below for each bastion point spent to improve the research order through this facility. There. So this becomes a new downtime activity that we need to keep track of. So let's go back to the other document here, and let's go down to library. There. And what else? Because this might be all we have in downtime activities, but we have to track them all to see the consistency between them. And the inconsistencies, to see what needs to be made consistent and what needs to be removed because they don't work. So that's the process that we're going through, defining the scope of downtime activities. What can they do? What should they be able to do? So I'm parsing through all this. Here's our unique features, the improved orders, the passive benefits. Like passive benefits might not need to have a specific order attached to them either. It could just simply be when you issue an order, you're issuing that specific orders, but you can improve all of these orders with your laboratory, but you're only specifically issuing these orders to your laboratory. You've got this passive benefit that doesn't necessarily have to hinge on research at all. And then these unique features that don't necessarily have to hinge on order either. They could just be these unique features, the downtime activity, the passive benefit. These could all be passive benefits that are labeled separately. But that's what we're figuring out. So we don't have any downtime activities here. I mean, technically, they all have a downtime activity, which the library is actually spelling out rather keenly. I'm gonna put an asterisk next to this here, because we have up here all, which is a character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity in this facility can make an ability check and add the Bastion dice to the result instead of issuing an order to the facility to do so without the character being there. So that's kind of that all asterisk. Like if I'm in a laboratory and I'm doing laboratory stuff, if my character is doing that laboratory stuff themselves, then you could automatically add the Bastion die to whatever it is that they're doing. That's just like a passive thing. That's a consistent downtime activity that can be basically performed by anything that has orders that can be issued. So I guess we'll have to go through the process of seeing, like, does the meditation chamber like actually have an issue that's ordered, an order that you issue. So that's the idea anyway. Can we help noobs a bit? Can we change intelligence to I mean, that's maybe we could do that. We'll hire an editor to help walk through the mechanics of it to see what language works best. So there might be a better way of wording that, but the way that you basically perform research is by making an intelligence check with whatever the knowledge skill it is that you're using. You go with intelligence and then knowledge skill. That's typically how you word things in 5e, using 5e rhetoric. Oh, we don't have to stick with rhetoric. If I can operate within rhetoric, I want to. But that is technically getting the cart before the horse. We don't need to really worry about that yet. Not yet. Not until we start locking down more of this language. We have orders that are improved, and we have unique features, and orders that doesn't have any downtime. Greenhouse. No downtime. Issue or maintain order to govern a settlement as detailed. That would be... would that be an order that we would issue, or would that be a passive? Or would that be a passive benefit? I'm not 100% there, but it's definitely not a downtime task. No downtime tasks here. No downtime tasks here. Passive. Passive benefits. There's time to empower magic items. Each bastion point spent to improve. Like, yeah, if we start stripping away titles, we don't have to, like, this facility thing doesn't really fit into any specific order. So I gave it a weird facility tag, which is currently unique. So we can get rid of that. And then we could reduce the benefit down to just being like, you can create magical and non-magical items more quickly instead of having to parse out all this language. That is a way to consolidate that. So that's another argument in favor of removing specific orders from passive benefits, just making them just blanket benefits. But this doesn't have any passive activity. This doesn't have any downtime activities listed here. So we can skip that. The crypt. Once per day, the crypt can empower a body. That would not be a downtime activity because your character can't take actions if they're dead. So that would be a passive benefit. And there are no other downtime activities here. Barracks. No downtime activities. Auction house. No downtime activities. Armory. No downtime activities. Archive. When making a research check to obtain information or to resolve a complication. No, and nope. I see text. Hold on. I'm almost done with this list, so I'll get to you in a second. There you go. That was the list. So, sure. I'm thinking the 3 Evers is better. Imparts the same info, but also imparts the knowledge skill. While I feel like your current list feels more specific in which knowledge skill. Oh, I see what you're saying. Huh. Yeah, we could probably find a way to broaden the language. Experienced gamers will understand things implied, but that's unusual for newer gamers. Well, if we, to that same point, if we're seeing mechanical language conveyed differently from what's in the rule books that the new players have no other exposure to, sustaining the same verbiage that in this book that you see in the 5e core books helps the new audience members that haven't had any other experience. They'll understand easier what it is we're talking about because they'll recognize the tags and the language used here as coming from the DMG, them being consistent and the same, or the PHB. So, but I see your point, though. I see your point. Okay, great. So as it stands right now, we have all the downtime activities that we have listed. So let's see. We're looking at passive benefits. Demiplane, crypt. Did we get through all the passive benefits? Hold on. Let's see if there's any other passives that were laying around that I missed. That's where it stops. Okay. Passive benefits. Don't necessarily. Do we? Let's do it like this. Do we need to call out? Do we need? Do we need to categorize each passive? Do we need to categorize each passive with a specific order, or is it simply a benefit? And then we go down to where's my downtime? There it is. Let's put it on a separate page. There. Do we need to categorize each passive? A character that spends a Bastion turn downtime in this facility can make an ability check and add Bastion die to the result instead of issuing an order. Yeah, that's a good way of putting that all effect. So I think we can get rid of. All right, so let's look at the downtime activities. Passive equals specific. Yes. A passive. Yes, there's at the top of the stream we were talking about the different type of the different mechanics that affect a facility. A facility can improve orders. Whatever you put points into improves that order. You have passive benefits, which we were just talking about. There's downtime activities that characters can perform while they're in that facility. And then there's specific orders that can be issued to the facility. And this is where we would probably have that caveat about, well, maybe it would, maybe it would be like, the downtime activity would be if your character stays in this facility for the full Bastion turn, you can have the character perform a task instead of issuing a facility order. Otherwise, here are the orders that a facility can carry out. Blah. The improved orders is done. We're content already with what each of these can be. Like we know that the crypt can improve, harvest, empower, and maintain. We're currently digging our way through passive benefits and downtime activities. So let's go back to our downtime activities and see if we can start detecting patterns of behavior. And once we detect the patterns, we can codify it so all of them are operating inside of that pattern similarly. And then we can see where there's gaps in what these, like, if there's gaps in what, like, the downtime activities do, if we're seeing that there's similar things that can be reflected in other facilities, and we can add in those facilities similar downtime activities if they don't already have them. Greater passive equals specific combinations of facilities. That's overly complicated. I don't want to get into feat chains because those are really difficult to track. And this is already a much deeper mechanical project than what the Bastion system is in the DMG. So I want to take it like one or two steps further and chaining together different passives, like different facilities to set up combos. It's obviously there. There's a lot of really cool stuff that could be done with that. But I don't want to get too complicated. We need to make sure we lock down the system as it stands first. But there are options. We could keep a door open for those ideas. I just want to make sure that the system is simple and solid so that there could potentially be the bandwidth to even explore those ideas. Like we're already talking about stripping away orders from downtime activities so that they don't, so like it's binary, right? It's either, is it an order or is it a downtime activity? It's not both. And in the same way, can I do this thing? Well, I have an observatory, but I don't have a lab. So until I have a laboratory, I can't do this. It's a very Civ 5 approach. And if this was literally the only game, like if this was the entire game and it wasn't something that was being just clipped onto Dungeons and Dragons, then I would potentially explore combos like that. And the Guild Delver RPG that we're developing can have potentially that level of mechanical depth because the Guild Delver campaign is basically Bastion Campaigns as a standalone RPG. So that game system could tolerate a deeper level of mechanical complexity, but we have to design for the game that we're operating inside of. And I'm specifically building this not only as an opportunity for me to help lock down and differentiate 5e from Guild Delvers, but also for me to operate inside of the parameters of what the 5e game engine is. So even though we could do more with it, like we could do all sorts of Pathfinder stuff with 5e, but the more Pathfinder stuff we do with 5e, the less 5e it is. So I need to recognize which game engine am I using and where are the limits of what that game engine does and what clever things can we do inside of that game engine to operate inside that space but make it function differently. And that's the primary project, is to introduce these ideas and use 5e mechanics and the 5e simplicity of it all to be able to execute these things. So we're already a little more mechanically complicated than what the Bastions are, so I'm cautious about taking too many iterative steps. Advanced play, potentially. I'm not shutting the door on it. It's just I'm not sure. That's not. I haven't decided that's the depth I want to take the project, but it does exist, and there could be time spent on that as further musings. But whether that would be actually introduced into this book or not, or it would be instead like a Patreon essay, for instance, that's a good question. Or just save it for Guild Delvers and dive into that. So on task, let's start looking at what the downtime activities do and how they break down. So if we were to strip away the idea of research in the library, when a player, I can get rid of the word indentation because fuck that. So when a character spends a bastion turn in the library researching a topic, you can include the research order to add a bastion die. So we're looking at potentially getting rid of the issue the research order. Like, we're probably going to get rid of that. But that's just a generic. You can do that in any facility. It's just the library was the one that we saw it and that acknowledged it. So that's already an improvement that we found with the bastion with this process. So meditation chamber, a character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefits of a divine charm. The maximum charm level that can be empowered is determined by the number of bastion points expended. Bastion points expended to improve. Like, this is a level of mechanical depth that I don't think I want. So we get rid of this. So the maximum charm level that can be empowered is determined by the number of bastion points expended to improve this facility. And that could be, in the meditation chambers instance here, going down to the meditation chamber. So every time we expend a bastion point to improve the meditation chamber, we either increase the empower or recruit. If we keep it simple, since a downtime activity doesn't require a character to issue an order, it doesn't matter technically if the meditation chamber has any ranks of empower or has any or ranks of recruit. It's still going. The downtime activity will still be the same, which is to bestow a divine charm upon the character. Bestowing charms was listed as an empower action. Hold on, let's actually check the book. Let's check the book real quick. A meditation chamber is a relaxing space that helps characters align their mind. Empower, inner peace. When you issue the empower order to this facility, your bastions hirelings can use the meditation chamber to gain a measure of inner peace. Next time you roll for a bastion event, you can roll twice. And ooh, I didn't see that. I like that. I like that a lot. That is a passive. Hold on, before we lose it. Oh, wait, it's up. I like that a lot, actually. Let's get facility features. Oh, I'm in the wrong book. It's over here. Downtime activities. These are passive events, passive benefits. The meditation chamber. Technically, it's listed as empower equals when you roll a bastion event, roll twice and keep the result you prefer. Something like that. That's a really cool passive benefit. I love that. So we're going to go down. We're going to add that immediately while it's on our mind. And then we'll go back and we'll look at the research. We'll look at the meditation chamber again to resolve the actual question. But that was fun. So I think once we lock all these down, we'll sweep through all of them again to find any hidden treasures. Downtime activity, passive. That's right. Passive features. Empower, we're going to get rid of that. Equals when your... Is that how it actually works? Empower, inner peace. When you issue the empower order, a meditation chamber is a relaxing space that helps. When you issue the empower order to this facility, your bastion's hirelings can use the meditation chamber to gain a measure of peace. The next time you roll for a bastion event, you can roll twice and choose either result. See, they want you to issue an order for this, but you're not. But you only issue a bastion event like this if you aren't issuing orders to your facility already. To your bastion already. So this is kind of a non-bow. I don't like that. So making it a passive that doesn't require an order makes sense. Fortify self. If you leave, you can meditate in this facility over a period of 7 days. If you leave the bastion during this time, you gain no benefit. Otherwise, at the end of the 7th day, you gain an advantage on 2 kinds of saving throws for the next 7 days. See, that does not require an order. So it's pretty arbitrary. It's pretty arbitrary about what you're able to do or not do as an order. So that loosens things up a lot. And my microphone's too loud. So I want to turn that down a smidge. Hold on. There. Maybe that's not better. Let's see. Nope, definitely wasn't better. I can hear myself a lot better now than before. Is my volume up? No, it isn't. It's just the microphone is just really working well, apparently. So I'm gonna what I can do to bring that down. That's better. Okay. Thank you, Timely Timer. Let's go to the downtime activity. I'm looking for downtime activity real quick. Hold on. Not downtime. A passive. That was the crypt. I saw it. It was the crypt. Crypt had a passive. Passive comes before downtime. Right, there we go. So back to meditation chamber again. Downtime activity doesn't require any orders to get the benefit of the boon. The maximum charm level, the maximum level spell that can be gained is determined by the number of bastion points expended. Improve this facility. Up to the listed character level. Only one charm can be active on a character at a time. Period. There. Okay, so we got rid of the empower order, and we're going to get rid of empower as a requirement. So we can get rid of that. Character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit. Yeah, that works. Well, thank you. Hopefully it still sounds good. Let's see. The maximum level spell that can be gained is determined. Yeah, that works out. This all jives. Bastion points, observatory, empower. I don't need empower. A character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of an arcane charm. It's the exact same language as here. The only thing we're changing is the word divine to arcane. There. Reliquary. Character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of an arcane, divine, or druidic charm. This is all three of them. Oh, all right. Hey, I'm sensing a theme here involving downtime activity. Are you catching this vibe? Is that all that downtime activities do now? Is this grant boons? Is that it? Is that all it ever did? When you finish a short rest in the sacristy, you regain an expended spell slot up to 5th level. That's not a downtime activity. That's a benefit. That's a passive benefit. So we should shift that. Like downtime activity is you spend a week here and you get this thing. You don't have to spend a short rest for a bastion turn. That's too long. That was S's. So we'll go back down to there. Sacristy. Let's go to sacristy since we're working on it. Yeah, passive feature. There we go. So Sacristy doesn't have any downtime activities now. Druidic Charm. So I'm getting a sense that I need to diversify what downtime activities can be, because so far all we're getting are charms, right? Or the ability to add a bastion die for a task that you perform instead of issuing an order. Empower, a character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using a facility gains a number of temporary hit points equal to your character level. Another thing is a character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using the facilities gains a charm to cast a word of recall, with the sanctum as the destination, a very specific charm of a specific spell. Another one is a character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefits of a divine charm. The maximum charm level is determined by a blah blah blah. So this is divine. Theater. So, If Bastions isn't the campaign and is just added for flavor, then it feels like rewards unearned, unlike the magic sword you took from defeating a lich. A story you'll remember. You just got a magic sword. I disagree, because you spend if you're building Bastions as a tack-on system, then you're not getting free points. If you're running Bastions first, you can gain X amount of points with the Bastion eventually gaining levels over the course of the campaign. If it's characters, a single character group that are acquiring Bastions, then they have to spend their gold to earn Bastion points that they could then spend to invest into a Bastion. So they're getting access to this stuff because this is how they're choosing to spend their treasure, to create these facilities so that they can do these things. They could have, say, spent their gold to track down a magic sword, or they invested in creating an armory that's capable of enchanting that magic sword. They're still having to spend their wealth, their downtime, and their engagement in the world around them to be able to develop the facilities to be able to do that. Great question, though. Theater and power. Characters can participate in a performance to gain inspiration. Coming adventure at Bastion. Yeah. This is taken from the DMG. So we're gonna eliminate this. Of course, we're gonna eliminate this. This one is requiring additional weeks or additional time. The basic is you spend a week here, and you get 1 point. You'll get one or more points, either 0, 1, or 2 points depending on how well you roll. If you roll higher, you can spend additional time to gain additional inspiration that can be used at a later time. If you fail the die roll, you create a complication. Wait a second. Okay, so this is a downtime activity that does require a die roll. This is a contradiction to the other efforts of empowering, in which this is, so this might, like on one hand, like we have the spy network where we issue a command for them to research a location or a creature or something so that you can gain insight to have inspiration dice when you're performing a mission that's targeting that point of interest. And that is an order that's issued for you to set up dice for your characters to then use later. This is also a downtime activity, but it's not targeting anything. It's just a general thing. I think that maybe the difference here is that with the spy network, it's going to be a week no matter what, regardless of how high you roll. The result is going to be more points. So maybe what we should do instead is put a cap, and instead of making it a die roll, characters that participating in this to gain a number of inspiration points during their adventure. With the Bastion, okay, so with the Bastion campaign, well, this is months of work in the DMG. It's months of work for 1 inspiration point. Here we're offering, it could go on for months for multiple points. I kind of like that idea. Characters that participate for the listed duration gain a number of inspiration points during their next adventure equal to the difficulty rolled for the performance. Yeah, I want to strip that away. Yeah, I'm gonna bold this real quick so that I'm keeping that in mind. I've got ideas for this, but I want to look at the rest of the list before I change this. But I'm thinking of restructuring this on a weekly basis. Oh, what's up? sorry, I'm a bit confused about the use of campaigns versus a supplement. And the book you're trying to write. It feels like you're trying to write a campaign within the confines of a supplement. No, the term Bastion Campaign is a format of campaign. Like a mega dungeon is a campaign format. Hex crawl is a campaign format. Like running Descent into Avernus is its own campaign format because you're running that campaign book. This is designed to provide it's a tack-on system that can also become the basic theme of your campaign. We're providing the mechanical depth for your characters to tack this onto their normal campaign, but the reason we're calling it Bastion Campaigns is because it's creating its own ecosystem for how to run a procedurally generated campaign. Much like how a hex crawl is a procedurally generated campaign, and how a mega dungeon is a procedurally generated campaign, bastions are themselves a third type of procedurally generated campaign. That the mega dungeon campaign is triggered off of the process and procedures of exploring a mega dungeon. A hex crawl campaign hinges on the mechanics used to perform a hex crawl. That becomes the theme of the campaign, the procedural generation of adventure through the process of hex crawling. So the idea here is for a Bastion campaign is to create a campaign through the progressively procedurally generated results of the Bastion's activities. That's what spurs the adventure. It can be added on as its own campaign, as its own as a tack-on system, as an add-on system, as the Bastion system is presented in the DMG. So we're providing for the snap-on system, we're providing ability checks, risks and rewards, and means for the characters to create adventure hooks if wanted, or to process successes and difficulties that the Bastion faces in trying to perform whatever it is they're doing, even if your characters are focused on Storm King's Thunder or whatever. Then this becomes a tack-on system that the characters do gain benefits from, but they have to develop the facilities just like you have to develop the facilities with the DMG system. So then we're using this to replace the DMG system at the level of depth of this is just a thing that your characters can have added on as a benefit. But then there's the next step beyond that, which is making a full campaign out of it, which is now that you understand how the system can be added to your characters as an additional depth to the campaign, you can now, if you wish, instead have the Bastion become the theme of the campaign and use these deeper levels of mechanics of procedurally generating cause and effects, cascading from week to week. It's just, the mechanics don't really change at all. It's just the orientation of, I don't have an adventure for your characters until the Bastion does something. So instead of it being characters first, Bastion second, it becomes Bastion first, characters second. It's just a matter of flipping the priority in the procedures that you're generating. So in a normal campaign, the adventure hooks are being generated by what the characters are normally doing, whatever it is that they're doing. And now you have this Bastion system backing them up and providing additional resources that they have to pay gold or adventure quests to acquire these Bastion points to progress their Bastion. Or if you like that, you can take it a step further and make a campaign out of it where your Bastion is growing and the characters inside of the Bastion are acting as emissaries or gophers or fixers for the Bastion. So it's the Bastion that then drives the adventure, and the characters are basically waiting for the next task to come up. So you'd be basically running the Bastion on a week-by-week basis, and then once a complication occurs, you slow down the game, and then you resolve that complication, and then you pan out again to the Bastion level on a week-by-week basis. Kind of like in Beckme, when you were running a mega dungeon, a turn would be 10 minutes, even though a round of combat was like a minute, or in D&D 5e, 6 seconds. The turn was still 10 minutes, creating a block of time where your characters are doing things in the dungeon so that there's a clock that's always running. So that as things occur, as the timer pops, it triggers die rolls that can potentially create wandering encounters, traps, or other complications inside the dungeon. Just like when you're doing a hex crawl, after X amount of hours crawling through a hex, that could potentially pop a wandering encounter or some sort of natural hazard, or discovering a location that is then a procedurally generated result that the characters can explore as additional adventure plot hook. You're a big fan of the Acquisitions Inc. books, so it's a yeah, I have it. That can be used as, yeah, absolutely. But it really designed to be the campaign theme to me, it sounds like. Yeah, exactly. This is very similar to that Act Inc. idea, but this in Act Inc. when you assign tasks for your franchise to perform, it would have NPCs inside of that, like your major domo or other NPCs. So when you're issuing orders in Act Inc., you're issuing them to specific NPC creatures inside of your that are part of your franchise. You know, instead of your Bastion doing it, it would be you specifically, like Harold. Harold the Scribe is specifically going to go perform this task for us. Whether Harold's good at it or not, it's what he's going to do, because he's somebody that's available that can perform this downtime task on behalf of the characters. What this is doing is this is panning out a little bit further, so that the Bastion itself has multiple hirelings inside of it, who you can define individually if you wish, or not, your choice. But the Bastion as a whole, as an organization, is carrying out the orders that you're issuing. Not in Act Inc. You're issuing them to specific NPCs or creatures in your franchise. Now this is looking at the franchise as a whole, and it's creating a means for the Bastion to have an ability check based on the rank of the Bastion, and how evolved it is at issuing a particular order. If it has a lot of points in crafting, the Bastion's good at crafting stuff. If it has a lot of points issued in recruiting, it's good at recruiting people. So that's the difference, the scope and the scale of operations. I hear and understand your explanation of what you're trying to do, but I'm thinking about a guy who sees a book for sale on a shelf. Well, luckily he'll be able to read the whole thing. So this is going to be on the DMsGuild, and it'll be 100% free preview, just like everything else that I do. So if it catches his interest, and he's like, I wonder what this book is about, he can read the entire book. And if he decides, yeah, this is something I want to add into my campaign, there's a decent chance he's going to actually buy the book. So yeah, it's like people buy the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that I created, and it's a very deep combat dive for fleets and squadrons commanded by characters using 5e action economy. And that's a hard sell. It's a $20 book. Like, you don't just buy that book because it's a neat idea. People buy it because they read the whole thing. And they're like, not only is that a neat idea, it's being executed well, and I can actually use this and play along. So people buy the book because they can actually use it, and they get how it works because they read the book. I expect this to be the same way. That's why people buy the Color Mana system, the spell point variant rules that I have, because they can read the entire book, and by the time they've read the book, they're like, this is a comprehensive guide on using spell points smart. I'm going to buy this book because I'm going to read it more than once. And that's how I get my sales, because people read my book and then they buy it. They don't buy my book and hope it's good and then get pissed off if it isn't. They read it first and then they buy it second. So this is the same way. So they'll have a complete understanding of how the game system works over the course of reading the book. And by the time they get to the end of the book, they're going to be like, no, that's not for me. I don't like that. Or they're like, I like some of those ideas, but it's not what I want. Or they're going to be like, this is awesome. I'm going to use this. And it's the people that say, this is awesome, I'm going to use this. Those are the ones that buy the book. Maybe it's only 1 out of 4 of them. Typically, it's about, I think, 1 out of 6 people that download the Point Warlock book that I published. About 1 in 6 of them actually purchase it. So, yeah, that's decent ratios. So that's I think that's fair. But yeah, it's a non-problem. No, this book specifically is for the DMs Guild. Specifically, the Guild Delver book that we're going to build, that's also going to have free previews for people to read it, and we're going to do a Kickstarter with that project. We're going to go through all this process. I'm using this on the DMs Guild. So when I say, hey, I'm building Guild Delvers, and it's taking ideas from the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book, from the Martial Powers book, and from the Bastion Campaigns book, and the and the Theurgy book, like those 4 books I have on the DMs Guild, it's taking ideas from all those books, but it's making a unique D20 game built around those themes and specifically built for those themes. So if you think these ideas are cool on the DMs Guild, go read all those books for free. If you think those ideas are cool, that's what I'm going to be offering to you in this Kickstarter project. If you want to see that come to fruition like these other books, back my project. I'll be here on stream making the entire book once the project closes. So that's the process that goes there. Great questions. Thank you. Great questions. Yeah, I can definitely restructure this theater. Training area. Characters that spin a bastion turn in the facility gain a character boon. 1 boon can be active per character at a time from the list below as determined by the level of the character and the number of points spent to improve the Empower order and the number of points spent to improve this facility. Again, I want to remove that friction of caveats and qualifiers. You have the thing, you can do the thing. As determined by the level of the character and the number of points spent to. Yeah, that's clunky language, but it's oh shit, that's all we have. Okay, so going back to the theater, let's restructure this. A character can participate in a performance to gain inspiration for an upcoming adventure or bastion order. To gain inspiration for upcoming adventures or bastions. Each participant, a character can participate. A character that spends a bastion turn in this facility can participate in a performance to gain inspiration for upcoming adventures or bastion orders. Each participant chooses a role. Characters that participate for the listed duration. Let's see. It's a downtime activity, so we're going to remove complications. Characters that participate for the listed duration, and there's only 1 duration, it's just a week. Spends a bastion turn in the facility. So the idea here is that your theater always has a performance that's going on. Your characters dip in and participate in the performance that week. During that week, you gain the inspiration points. I believe the DMG limits you to 1 inspiration point. Let's go to theater. When you issue the Empower order to this facility, its hirelings begin work on a theatrical production or concert. Takes 14 days, followed by at least 7 days, so it's a 21-day task. You can be a composer, you can be a conductor, you can be a performer. At the end of a rehearsal period, each character contributed to the concert must make a DC 15 charisma check. If more of these checks succeed than fail, you and any other character who contributed to the concert or production gain a theater die, a D6. This die changes to a D8 when you reach 13th level, a D10 when you reach 17th level. At any point after the rehearsal ends, a character can expend their theater die to roll it and add the number to one d20 test that they make immediately after rolling the d20. If a character hasn't expended their theater die before gaining another, their first die is lost. So basically, after 21 days, you get a Bastion die that you can add to a die roll. Oh, but it doesn't have to be at the facility. I like that. I like that. So let's actually do that instead of being an inspiration point. And this takes care of all this nonsense. Conduct or direct the performance. Compose or write a performance. Conduct or direct the performance. Perform in the performance. Characters that participate. Gain a theater die, which is equal to the which is a Bastion die equal to the rank of the Bastion. You can use this Bastion die to, you can add this Bastion die to any d20 test you make after the performance, after the Bastion turn ends. If you participate in a new, if you take this downtime activity again before expending the theater die, the previous theater die, the new performance replaces the old one. The current die. There you go. Because you could level up your facilities in the meantime. There, that's much simpler. Or would be would be a performer. That could be a musical instrument. It could be a written word. It could be an actual play. It could be a debate. The idea here is that that the Bastion has ongoing activities, and when they have a theater, that theater becomes part of the revenue generated by the Bastion, which is part of maintaining a lifestyle for the Bastion itself. So you nick all of, like, you don't have to worry about the costs, the balance books of gaining and losing wealth by having a lifestyle roll that you make, either at the beginning of each turn, or if you permanently lock down one of your orders, you can sustain a good lifestyle for however long your facility is capable of doing it based on its rank. So the idea is that there are ongoing performances, and when your characters are there, it's like special performance tonight by Francois, or maybe like you sit down and you like write new skits, or like you make a new song or whatever, using the theater as the space that you're doing this in, and as a result of that, you gain your inspiration, you gain your theater die. Could Fabian give angry Austrian painter speeches to improve loyalty, recruit, or generate income, or root out spies? Yes, you could do that, because you could use that Bastion, you could use that theater die for any check that you want once you gain it. Your character would have to participate in performing that task, but We have rules for that already. And to that end, we've pretty much established a consistent language now. So, yeah. So let's simplify. Let's carve up the removed through lines. It's horribly written, but it is what it is. So we can get rid of the bold here because that's good. Get out of the way, scallywag. Get rid of empower order of blank. Remove this. Oy vey. The Sanctum's got a whole bunch of downtime activity going on, doesn't it? So I guess the next question is going to be, with all this downtime activity that's available to the Sanctum, does the Sanctum need the ability to grant it a charm? Because we already have other things that are granting charms. It's like, how important is that? So let me finish getting rid of this so that we've got cleaner language, and then we're going to scrutinize the amount of charms that are being doled out to these facilities. But there's not a lot of downtime activities that are being issued otherwise. So I think there's potential here for us to expand the number of downtime activities. Almost there. Stay on target. When a character spends a Bastion turn in the library researching a topic, you can add a Bastion die to the result of your ability check. So this is going to be something that we're going to see cropping up like on all of them. It's like so generic. It's almost like it should just be a rule at the front end of defining downtime activities. Like all facilities can do this, but there might be a facility that doesn't have a downtime that doesn't issue orders. I don't think there is. I think every facility can be issued some sort of order. I'm not 100% on that. Okay, so let's see. Oh, that's right. We're going to look at at boons. Boons. Let's look at them. Divine meditation. Actually, let's do meditation chamber. Facility. Boon. Divine. Observatories, arcane. Let's do it like this. Reliquaries, all three. Arcane, divine, druidic, sanctuary is druidic. Sanctum is divine. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So Sanctum is the extra. Is Sanctum the extra, or is Meditation Chamber the extra? If we get rid of the Meditation Chamber is starting to look very, very thin in what it offers. So, and the Sanctum already has multiple downtime benefits that it offers. Very specific about protection and safety. So I think we can afford to strip the Divine Charm from the Sanctum. But what does the Sanctum do other than that? I think it also does. I think it also empowers magic items. So let's look at that. That's going to be our deciding factor right there. Let's look at the Sanctum. Unique feature. Making an empower check to bestow a boon upon a character or to resolve a complication. So like we would remove when making an empower check. I guess we would reword that to when you issue when you issue the empower order to your bastion, you can roll an additional bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result of the check. That's like the purest, most simple form of that statement, without any caveats or anything. It's like if you have a Sanctum, you get to add an extra die whenever you issue the empower order. That is very simple. It doesn't have to be to the Sanctum itself. It doesn't have to be a specific purpose for that empower order. It's just when you issue the empower order, you get to roll an additional die, keep the highest result. That's incredibly simple. The downtime activities that we have is we're going to get the hit point boost. We're going to get the temporary hit points, and we have the recall spell. So we don't necessarily need the charm, but what else do we have? But that's it. Oh my God. This one doesn't have any. We don't issue any orders to the Sanctum. Do we not? Wait, orders. No, wait, Sanctum. The Sanctum. I don't think we create anything with Sanctums. Is that true? The teleportation circle is also incredibly specific, so I'm okay with that. But let's go to our big list of stuff, of magic, of item creation. Down here towards the tail end of the book, and let's start looking for Sanctum. Let's look at Sanctum for magical stuff. Yeah, we removed Sanctum for making magical items. Okay, I'm good with that. Hey, what's up? What if you strip down the meditation chamber into, if you have a Sanctum and a shrine? No, because that again, that's stacking prerequisites, and I want to avoid that. Yeah, I really want to avoid that. It's too complicated for now. The Sanctum is very simple though, but then so is the teleportation circle. Let's go look at the teleportation circle. Passive benefits. When making a recruit order, add bastion die. When making a recruit order, bastion die. When making a trade order, bastion die. Passive benefits. Cast a teleportation spell, and you roll an additional bastion event each turn, and that's it. This doesn't issue any orders either. So I'm okay with that. Sanctum and teleportation circle are actually very similar. The teleportation circle is sending and receiving people via teleportation, while the Sanctum can bestow people with word of recall using the Sanctum as the destination for the recall teleportation. So there is an elegant complement there. I like that. Okay, cool. That gives me the confidence to remove Sanctum. My phone is making just too much noise. I like that. I like that a lot. So we remove that. That service is no longer necessary. So now you want a meditation chamber for divine. Well, hold on real quick. When do we get a meditation chamber? That's actually that's a good question. When do we get a meditation? Requires 3rd rank. There's nothing about the meditation chamber that says that you should require a 3rd rank. We're going to drop that to 1st so we can have that start. Wait. Yeah, I'm going to drop that. Does not require rank. Because there's nothing about the meditation chamber that requires something later than 1st level. Like the sanctum having recall. That's a reason to make that's a reason to have the sanctum be a higher level. But the meditation chamber itself, we can drop that down to 1st rank. Oops. Went too far. There we go. Meditation chamber, that goes back to 1st rank here. And what about the sanctum? Sanctum 3rd rank, that makes sense. Craft. Empower. God, empower is the only thing it has. It's so crazy. Okay, let's check it again. What does the sanctum improve? Looking for it. Huh. What's shy? Recruit could use another point. Or maybe trade needs one less. Boy, I think this is the only facility that has only one. Boy, it only has one. What's the teleportation circle do? Jesus, teleportation circle improves a lot. Let's go with my initial instincts and have Sanctum improve recruit. No, it was the meditation chamber I was thinking about for improving recruiting. Yeah. I'm not happy with the Sanctum having only one order that it can improve. But if I push up recruit here, I'm going to need another one in research and another one in harvest. Like where would I get something from harvest? That doesn't already have harvest. Yeah, harvest doesn't. I could see. I could. Ooh, maybe maintain. We already have so much in maintain, though. It doesn't actually maintain anything. It doesn't improve upon. It could be decent for recruiting, though. The teleportation circle is justified in recruiting because you teleport people to your facility. It's easy to travel. So I can see that as a recruiting device. Meditation chamber. I'd say a sanctum is as relaxing and soothing. It's so meditation. Let's see, teleportation circle for recruiting. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Sanctum, empower, recruit. So it's not just hanging there. Recruit. There. And we'll go back down to the sanctum, empower, recruit. Making a power check to bestow a boon. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. Okay, that's gonna work out. So let's see. Temporary hit points. Cast Word of Recall. Gains the benefit of a heal spell as well. What level's heal? If it's 5th level, we're cool, but I feel like heal is a higher level spell than that. Heal. Yeah, bad feeling about this drop. 6th level, that's 11th level. Word of Recall. Also 6th level. Okay, this is a 4th rank facility. Neat. We don't have a 4th rank facility yet. We now have a 4th rank facility. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a, and we don't have any. We have 1/5, which is the demi-plane. Hey, that's pretty cool. Okay, we got 1/5, 1/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2nd. It'd be nice if we had like 5 2nd, 4th, 3rd, 3 4th, 2 5th, or maybe 1/5, 2 4th, 3 3rd, 4 2nd, and then however many I want beyond, and then the rest are 1st. Just because I'm pyramid-y like that, but 4th and 5th, I think we're doing okay. I don't like that there's more 2nd rank that there's more 3rd rank facilities than 2nd rank facilities. That's kind of pissing me off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's good. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. No, this worked out. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 5 3rd rank as well. That's fine. Teleportation circle is correct. Observatory feels correct-ish. I doubt greenhouse needs to be 3rd rank. We can review these things. Animate dead. That could be 2nd rank. Greenhouse probably could be 2nd rank. We'll review these again. Hey, what's up? You know, my entire goal is going to be creating a demi-plane. How big is this demi-plane? You could turn some into benefits for certain combos. I don't want to build combos. That is a level of complete. At this stage, maybe I could. At this stage, I don't want to go that deep. Again, I don't want to have stacking prerequisites. And the demi-plane gets bigger. Just to answer your question real quick. Each bastion point spent to improve either craft or empower increases the size of the demi-plane. This is just going to be for each bastion point spent to improve this facility. the demi-plane gets bigger. So the number of points that you put into the facility, that's the number of squares that you get. Let's see, reduce the time to craft non-magical items, reduce the time to craft magical items. Those are the same. So this should technically be up here. Yeah, and then these are this right here is evidence that we don't need to have specific types of orders attached to benefits. Like, there's no facility. So it's just each bastion point spent to improve this facility. I can simplify this table. Each bastion point spent to improve this facility increases the size of the demi-plane. Let's see. The demi-plane can be used to... the demi-plane can increase the size of facilities without increasing the size of the bastion. Each bastion point spent to improve the facility increases the size of demi-plane to place facilities. Does that make sense? I could have a 10 by 10 facility, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 doors. One gets you into the room, and the other 7 doors lead into separate demi-planes. Each demi-plane could have 5 points put into them, which means that each of those 7 doors... Here, I'll draw you a map. What the... Where'd my Photoshop crashed? Or did I close it? Do I need to spend more points on the demi-plane for it to have features and physics resources? What about a demi-plane of portals limited to all other planes? Demi-planes can lead to demi-planes. You can put the door wherever you want. The demi-plane itself is a facility that doesn't necessarily have to be in your bastion, but it becomes a part of your bastion. Let me just crack open a workbench. Here we go. Vast space is described as 36 squares. 36. And then plus each additional point increases the size of the demi-plane by 13 squares. So if you have 5 points put into one demi-plane, you've got 36 squares worth of space to play with. If you have 4 points for a study, 9 points for a library, and 25 points for a laboratory, 25 plus 4 plus 9 is 36 points. You can have all 3 of those facilities inside of one demi-plane that's vast at 5 points, but it would only be it would just be a 5 foot, it would just be a door that, an extra dimensional door that is just in a wall someplace or on the floor somewhere. It doesn't take up any actual space in your bastion, but it creates all of this space inside your bastion like a TARDIS. It's basically what it does. It also has a time dilation effect. So when you're crafting and empowering items, you can do them more quickly than you would outside of the demiplane. So if you put a smithy inside your demiplane, that smithy can produce items faster than what a smithy not in the demiplane would do. So the demiplane creates extra dimensional space, and it allows you to create things faster. That's what it does. The Rainbow Road, for instance, that leads to Valhalla and all other Nordic heavens. Oh, I see what you're saying, like a planar portal. A portal that opens to other planes of existence. So you're talking about creating a permanent pathway to another plane of existence. I see what you're saying. I would say that'd be like a planar bridge. That would share space with like that would be in the same family as a sanctum and a teleportation circle. I see what you're saying now. I could see the meditation chamber being used for astral projection spell. But you'd have to be at 5th rank to do that. But ooh. I like that idea. Meditate, like once you have once your Bastion's 5th rank, your meditation chamber can upgrade to, while your characters are spending downtime activity in the meditation chamber, they can astral project as per the spell. I like that idea. That's a lot of fun. That's actually a lot of fun. Let's go up to the meditation chamber and add that while we're talking about it, shan't we? Thank you. How are we doing on time? 8:12. Okay, I've got 40 minutes. There. I could see now why I want to make this higher rank. That would make the meditation chamber require 5th rank because astral projection is the 9th level spell. So that would technically wall this in. As a 5th rank facility. Demiplane is the only other 5th rank facility that we have right now. How do you think about that? So, more of a Stargate. Yeah. The astral projection spell is a 9th level spell. That's why I'm sticking on it, because I want to be consistent. Normally, when a facility is capable of doing something, there are campaign, like a Planescape campaign would encourage your character to be able to planar travel earlier than 5th rank. But actually, yeah, that's I think the right thing to do. Passive feature, empower when you're downtime activity. I like that as a downtime activity. I'm thinking I like the Sanctum more so. You're already 4th level for the Sanctum. That's pretty close. Yeah. Let's just really lean into this place doing downtime activity stuff. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefits of an astral projection spell. You're already 4th rank, so it's probably fine. I of all of them, I guess I could see the Sanctum being pushed to 5th. But then that would take away our 4th. And then we're looking at teleportation circle, storehouse, stable, spy network, Sanctum, reliquary, pub, planar bridge. Improve order would be empower and trade. Fuck. I don't know if I need those improved. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Empower, recruit, and trade. Let's see. I think the teleportation. Hold on. Can teleport take us to other planes of existence? Yes, no. I think the answer is no. The destination you select must be known to you and must be on the same plane of existence. There you go. Arcane Gate. No. Gate. You conjure a portal linking an unoccupied space you can see within range to a precise location on a different plane of existence. The portal is a circular opening, which you can make 5 to 20 feet in diameter. You can orient the portal in any direction. The portal has a front and a back on each plane where it appears. Travel through the portal is possible only by moving through its front. Anything that does so is instantly transported to the other plane, appearing in the unoccupied space nearest the portal. Deities and other planar rulers can prevent portals created by the spell from opening in their presence or anywhere within their domain. When you cast the spell, you can speak the name of a specific creature. If this creature is on a plane other than the one you are on, the portal opens next to the named creature. Yeah, that works. Gate. What is the we're going to do it exactly like teleportation circle. Passive, passive, passive. Bunch of passive activities. A lot of passive activities. Oh, I'm good with it. Okay, cool. So let's go to planar bridge. Is that how we structured these things? Hold on. Passive benefits, downtime activities. Yeah, that's a passive benefit. Improve orders, passive improve orders. Passive benefits. Roll an additional event each bastion turn. Requires 5th rank. Gate spell once per day. There you go. No, this is the right way to do it. This is the way I want to do it. It's exactly like teleport, but a different facility. This I think is the right way to go. Where'd that page go? There it is. Five. We now need another 4th rank facility. Damn it. We'll have to find one. We'll find one. I like this idea, though. We could theoretically tack this onto the teleportation circle, though. It could go with the teleportation circle. It could go with the sanctum. Let's see. All right, back on task. Breaking down the formula. Here's our bastion points. Characters that spend a bastion turn in this facility gains a character boon. One character boon. One boon from the list below can be active per character at a time, as determined by the level of character and the number of points spent to improve this facility. Is that what we have? Is there boon language like that? Only one charm. The maximum level spell that can be gained is determined by the number of bastion points expended to improve the facility. There we go. Up to the listed character level. The Only one boon. Only one such boon can be active per character at a time. Let's see, the boon that a character can gain is determined by the number of Bastion points expended to improve this facility up to the listed character level. Only one such boon can be active per character at a time. There. Good enough. Fuck it. Okay, I'm happy with that. Take a Bastion die with you, gain a boon, gain a charm, take a Bastion point with you, use a Bastion point on top of at your facility. And that's all there is. Okay, so that's pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. Is there anything? Is there something other than a charm that characters could potentially gain? Improve this facility. Let's clean up our language here. Mm-hmm. 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 Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. For one, it's distances line of sight. Gate is super limited, though. It's a more limited teleport with the small benefit of moving. No, you pick a position on another plane of existence you're aware of, and you go there. It's a much broader application for teleport with that creates a hole that you can push people through. So it's a lot more flexible than teleport. You're thinking of Arcane Gate. You're thinking of Arcane Gate. This is Gate. The Gate. I literally had it up on screen. It was the Gate spell is a 9th level spell. Arcane Gate is a 5th level spell. They're similar but different. Like Arcane Gate is like a mass dimension door with a 400-foot range. Gate takes you to another plane of existence. Yeah. It's not a problem. It's Arcane Gate is like an advanced form of Dimension Door. But yeah, that would suck. Pardon me for a second. Apparently, I need to do a bio break. Hold on real quick. I gotta hit the BRB button here real fast. Yeah, not happy with that. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I've got a thing that's popped up. Be right back. Bio break. Right. You know, when your buddy says you gotta go, you gotta go. So, sorry about that, guys. Turtles. Let's see. Back on task. Okay, so let's check through our facilities. This is the Mage Tower field for Strixhaven, the Mage Tower game where competing teams try to score points by throwing a creature through a hoop. This is the at the 50-foot scale. This is the size of the arena that they have, which I think is too big. They did not Magic the Gathering did not design Strixhaven Mage Tower to be used with D&D rules. Much like anything else that D&D has made involving Magic the Gathering, hasn't really used any Magic the Gathering rules either. So, but this is something that we've been playing with on my Discord channel about having creating actual playable Mage Tower competitions as rounds of combat. So that's something that we're playing with. That when we get done with our mega dungeon, we're running a mega dungeon using the martial power system from level 3 to 10, and we're almost 5th level. And then once we get to 10th level, we're going to do 11th level, 13th level, 15th level, 17th level, and 20th level as Mage Tower competitions for martial power and full casters to interact with each other to play sports ball. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be super fun. This is one of the reasons why I'm making the Martial Powers project in the first place, is because I want martial characters to have a reason to go to Strixhaven. So if martial characters have a mana point system, just like spellcasters do, then Strixhaven is no longer about learning how to be a spellcaster. Strixhaven becomes a school where creatures learn how to control their mana, whether it's through spellcasting or through martial power. But either way, characters can compete in martial powers. But having like a barbarian or a monk or a battle master, these are all really great athletes to have on a mage tower team if they throw mana around. Anyway, that's the idea. So that's the map that we're using. That I was just pulled this one up for. Oh, that's right. We were going to pull this up originally to look at mapping. So if we're looking at, like, for instance, here's your bastion. It's just a little 10 by 10 room. And so you've got the door that you come into your bastion here. And then you've got a portal here, portal here, portal here, portal here, portal here, portal here, and portal here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 portals. And each one of these portals projects into a space that could be like 9 squares, for instance. So your bastion, your actual room here is only taking up a 10 by 10 space in someone's room, someone else's building maybe, but it has all these extra dimensional spaces that it opens up into. Like this one opens up here like that. So you could have this like hub network here where you could have like a number of these rooms that are all adjacent to each other inside of an actual bastion facility, and then have all these hyperspaces. And then these demi-planes could have additional demi-planes that lead to other demi-planes that then maybe lead to a teleportation circle or an arcane or a planar bridge that could then lead you cascade to cascade to cascade to finally leave to another dimension, like different degrees of protection for yourself. This would be the recommendation for high-level Spelljammer campaigns, where your ship is very small in scale, but has infinite wall space that you can just drop portals onto to be able to create X-dimensional pockets. But that was the idea. So let's go through real quick. Since we have so few downtime activities that we're actually seeing here in the facilities, I think we have opportunity to potentially play around a little bit more. So first off, let's go see how many of these things actually have. Let's scroll back to the beginning and see what we're seeing: empowering, researching, orders to create stuff. Auction house has orders. Barracks, virtually all of these have orders. This is probably the wrong way to go. Harvest, right? Demiplane. Demiplane doesn't have any orders. Demiplane doesn't have any orders. Sanctum doesn't have any orders. Teleportation circle doesn't have any orders. And now the planar bridge doesn't have any orders. That's 4 facilities that don't issue orders at all. I'm kind of hip to that. Let's look through the orders that can be issued to see if it's consistent for a character to spend a downtime here performing the order instead of issuing an order to the facility. Arcane study, orders, craft and power research, okay. Empower and research, okay. Craft and power and trade, you can issue a trade order to acquire non-magical items. Like that, would trade be appropriate? Yeah, because your character could spend a week doing trade negotiations. That's fair. Orders to maintain. Yeah, that works. Barracks to issue order to recruit and attack. I'm okay with that. Orders to craft, harvest, and maintain. I'm good with that. Order to trade. Craft and harvest, I'm good with that. The maintain. Craft or empower harvest, I'm good with that. Recruit, I'm good with that. I can get rid of, yeah, I'm good with this. Maybe I don't need to make this so complicated. You can issue the empower order to create magical items. What is this? Library. Oh, right. Simple stuff like scrolls and shit. Yeah, scrolls. Research. Choose one skill. Oh, I see what you're saying. Choose one skill listed below for each bastion point spent to improve the research order. You can issue the research order for this facility to research a subject related to the relevant skill. You can issue the research order for this facility to research a subject related to the relevant skill. God, that's clumsy as fuck. I don't think I like that. I'm going to change that up. The way that so the way the facility what is this? Library? Library. Let's check out the library. When you issue the research order to this facility, you commission the facility's hirelings to research a topic. The topic can be a legend, known, event, or location, a person of significance, a type of creature. The work takes 7 days. When the research concludes, the hireling obtains up to 3 accurate pieces of information about the topic that were previously unknown to you and shares this knowledge with you the next time you speak with them. The DM determines what information you learn. Okay, so this is unique. That's an order that's being issued. That's a good point. That's an order. We're going to end up scrapping that order. We're going to probably replace it with the typical contact other plain language. Probably going to replace this with the contact other plain language. Really, meditation chamber allows us to recruit. I don't know if I like that or not. We'll look at that. We'll see consistency with the recruiting order. That's also something I'm looking for. Grow plants in, for example, or a medium place for several. I like the idea of the more complex the demi-plane, the more finite the plane is, meaning you could have an infinite expanse of near nothingness with few physics. That's very complicated. I appreciate that. That would be beyond the capacity of what the Bastion Campaign book is trying to achieve, though a 5 or 10 page supplement about variant demi-planes could be tacked on and used with this very easily. Like a lot of these ideas can be standalone things that can get tacked on, either like on a Patreon page or just as like a pay what you want. Like something like that I might put out as like a 5-page pay what you want that I would then bundle with this book so that the variant demiplanes would be basically a coupon to buy the book at a discount. So definitely something worth considering. You can issue same thing with like creating more advanced versions of undead. That'd be another way to like have a kicker effect, like like upgrade the Bastion without necessarily complicating the mechanics of the Bastion. Create the core book, and then create variant and kicker features on top of it. Kind of like with the core, like the 5 color mana spell point variant rules that we made for MTG casting. That was the core mechanics, and then we had spell point Warlocks and the Knights and Tricksters, Elemental Key, and now Martial Powers. Those are 4 expansion books, not to mention spell point Sorcerers and spell point Artificers. It's going to be a total of 6 books that expand on specific subjects inside of the core mechanics book. So these are all good ideas, and would make fun kickers that I could then build after this publishes as means of expanding the collection. Order to recruit, order to recruit. I'm seeing some commonalities here. I'm seeing a lot of basic commonalities here. Okay, great. So I think we're seeing a universal effect for downtime. So just a blanket downtime activity, like I was saying, is as a downtime activity, your character can the character can perform an order, gaining the Bastion die on top of the ability check without actually having to expend an order. Their character's timed. You issue orders to your facility because your characters aren't doing it themselves. That's the purpose of issuing orders. If your character was doing everything themselves, it would just be ability checks. That they're handing it off to NPCs is where the Bastion die comes from, because at any given time, a team can work well or poorly together on top of how proficient they are in general. So if your character gets involved, they have a static bonus to their ability checks that they add to their D20 test. And then by having the Bastion, them performing these tasks through the Bastion, is what's allowing the character to add the Bastion point to their ability modifiers, to their ability check that they're already making. And that's the idea of the theater, is that you can get that Bastion point and you can take it with you outside of the theater for future use, which I like a lot. I like that idea a lot. Yeah. And then we have, so we have the general in facility, use the Bastion die in the facility. We have the gain the boons. That's what we wanted to do. I wanted to check the DMG real quick to see if there's something other than boons that the character could potentially gain. I think what we want to look at are, rewards? Treasure. Trade bar, coin, artifact, Bastion. What else is there? Renown. Supernatural gifts. Renown. Marks of prestige. All right, that's probably sufficient. So let's take a look. Blessings. A blessing is usually bestowed by a god or godlike being, so probably not going to get access to boons. Blessings. Charms. A charm is usually the work of a powerful spirit, a magical location, or mythical creature. Unlike a magic item, a supernatural gift isn't an object and doesn't require attunement. A character might receive a blessing from a deity for doing something truly momentous. No, that's like a quest reward. So I don't want to include blessings because they're off flavor, but charms, that's what we already have. A charm can't be removed. A typical charm mimics the effects of a potion or a spell. So it is easy to create more charms of your own. And these are specific charms that they have, but literally it can be any spell or potion effect. So let's get past that. Renown. Renown is an optional rule you can use to track characters' standing individually or as a party within a particular group, such as a faction, organization, or community. A character's or party's renown score starts at 0, then increases a character's earned favor and reputation. Players track renown separately for each group their character is associated with. For example, an adventurer might have a renown score of 5 with one faction and 20 with another. You can use renown over the course of an entire campaign or within a single adventure. As at a campaign scale, you might set up a faction or a guild. You might set up factions or guilds that characters can join individually or as groups, and the characters pursue ranks and rewards by gaining renown within that organization. At an adventure level, you might decide that the character as a group needs to earn a renown score of 5+ before the council trusts the characters enough to share resources with them. Gaining renown. Completing missions. Group involvement. Once a character advancing a group's interest. Benefits of renown. Recognition. Rank. Perks. Level-based renown. Settlements. Renown. Renown is something we could gain. Mark prestige. Sometimes the most memorable reward for a character, the best rewards, maintenance cost, letter of recommendation. A letter of recommendation from a person. Okay, so before we lose thread. Gain renown with spend a bastion turn to gain 1 point of renown with an organization. That's really campaign contingent. In Ravnica, for instance, you can gain renown with different guilds. So, like having a downtime activity to gain renown makes sense. You'd have to spend a year to gain 50 ranks. So I'm okay with that. Spend a bastion turn to gain 1 point of renown with an organization. Spend. Oops. That's an idea. Now let's look at the letter of. Let's look at the. Let's look at the letter of recommendation again. What's up? Ooh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, you're probably right. What else can we do? Letter recommendation. A benefactor might provide adventurers with a letter recommendation rather than payment, such as letters usually enclosed in a handsome foil case. A letter of recommendation from a person or impeccable reputation can grant adventurers access to NPCs whom they would otherwise not have. A letter of recommendation is worth only as much as the reputation of the person who wrote it and offers no benefit, so they'd have to have renown. Medals, although often baptismal medals are typically awarded by political figures for acts of heroism, and wearing a medal is usually enough to earn the respect of those who understand its significance. Different acts of heroism can warrant different kinds of medals. A medal doesn't offer a specific in-game benefit. Fine. Parcels of land, special favors, special rights, titles, training, proficient in a skill, proficient in a tool, proficient in a language. Okay, that's probably good. I think you're right about that being too niche with renown, but yeah, I think you're right. Nice idea, but yeah, it's probably beyond the scope of what this is. save it for faction supplement. Once the Martial Powers book is published, then we would have means of, instead of having specifically a charm placed on the characters, you could have a martial boon, a martial charm for being able to channel a specific power. And that would be like probably like barracks, armory, training area. Those make sense. But yeah, this might be the limit of what these things are. So obviously we have the list of downtime activities. You can spend a bastion point to perform any orders. So, but yeah, so I guess where we're at. I mean, it is what it is. It's pretty simple. So let's go to the library and we'll start. We'll JKL and we'll start with the library. And I'll work way forward when a character spends a bastion turn. My character spends, yeah, okay. Library and then observatory. Wait for it. Yeah, that's orders. Passive feature. Maybe we do it like this. And then we're on to orders. Yeah, probably. What's the next one? Observatory, of course. No, meditation chamber. Thank you. Nope. Well, this isn't working. There's that. Approve orders. After observatory, no, after meditation chamber is the observatory. the research order after that. Reliquary. There. Downtime activity for the observatory is oops. Oh, we already did the observatory. Wait, did we? Yes, we did. Reliquary. This is where we're supposed to be at. We'll do it like this instead. And then we have the sanctuary, same verse. Sanctuary, sacristy. Huh. No passive benefits for the sanctuary. Interesting. That is the sanctuary. Sanctum. Maybe a passive benefit. Maybe a passive benefit. Sanctum. Once we have all the orders, once we have all the improved orders, passive features, downtime activities, and issued orders, once we have all those in place, we will probably see any imbalances. I'm not sure if we're actually going to see any prior to that because we're still in the process of building. Theater. Oh yeah, there's some good stuff here. Storehouse, order. Hold on, I'll catch up with you in a second. This is all gonna work out just fine. We have already won. Training area, and then we're done with that. Perfect. What's up? Hold on. I'll catch up with you in a second. It's doing some paperwork. Hey, what's up? Passive, Sanctuary passive, pets and mounts, full rest in 4 hours. Huh. Maybe. Training area. Passive features. All right, we're getting to the grittiest of the day, my friends. Okay, so we've got a lot of the baseline stuff here done. We still need to. I'm going to probably. I don't spend hardly any downtime, like any off-screen time working on these at all, but me going through all of these would be mind-numbing for you guys to watch. So I'll probably standardize this formatting here, like upgrade this to like 14 point, right? Like dual line. Let's do a line. And we have our improve orders, empower and recruit, and we have our passive features, our downtime activity. Oops. Improve this facility. There you go. And then we'll have orders next. So what are we doing? Taking up stuff up to a 14. And yeah, I'm probably gonna take like 20 minutes here and build these out so they're consistent. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that, but we achieved our major objective of the night, is standardizing and codifying downtime activities. There's not a lot of them, which means that there's a lot of passive features that we have. But we don't have a lot of downtime activities, which means we can probably buff out the number of downtime activities there are. First, the next step that we have is to go through orders that are being issued to each facility. And then once we codify the orders, we'll have our improve orders. We'll have our, should we put it as upgrades, improvements? Improvements. There. Improvements, passive features, downtime activities, and orders. Those will be our that'll be our stack. Hey, great timing. So when we come back next time, the next time we're going to be working on this is going to be Thursday night. So tomorrow morning we're going to be back working on the Eberron adventure artwork, and then I'll be off for the rest of the day. I'm going to be playing D&D with my coworkers for lunch, so I shan't be around. On Thursday I'll be back Thursday morning for more Eberron art, and then Thursday night we'll come back and we'll do a couple of like 3 some odd hours going through the orders issued to standardize them, just like we've done with the passive features and the downtime activities. So we have improvements, passive features, downtime activities, and orders. Once we have all of those resolved, then we can start looking at which of these facilities feel heavy versus feeling light. We can start weighing the balance of each of them. See if we need to combine any of them to reduce the payload or expand out with additional facilities that offer as wide a breadth of options as the ones that we already have inside of here. Once we standardize, and we can do that by going back through the book again. So once we get all of these four traits resolved for each facility, and we see where those gaps are, we can go to each of the facilities that are listed in the DMG and see how the things that they do there are translating into what we have here. And if we've missed something, or if something jumps out at us suddenly, then we can integrate that into the piece. And then from there, we can balance each of them against each other further. And once we have that balanced out, we already have the basics for the complications. That's right. Once we get the orders and all these passes figured out, then we can go back to the front of the book and properly define what each order does to see how we can simplify the language in each facility to use implied language, implicit language, because of what the orders themselves do. And so we can potentially remove language from here to defer to like how the orders actually, like if you issue the craft order to craft non-magical items, going up to the craft order will explain how that process works. So we don't have to reiterate the mechanics over and over again, kind of like with the boons. We could potentially shift those boons into just being like a simple summary. It's like, you can create a boon, you can create divine boons, and now you know what that code is because it's consistent across all boons granted. So that's the goal, to simplify so that each facility is minimizes the language needed to express it. Like the training area, this is already training into a bulky into a bulky section. This is probably one of the bulkiest, for example. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Okay, so I'm going to kick on out of here. Francois, thanks a lot for hanging out, man. I really appreciate you. Sanctum, passive, sanctuary, passive, pets and mounts, fluorescent 4 hours. Huh. Animals specifically, huh? I like that because the sanctuary is druid based. I kind of like that idea. We're gonna play with this stuff some more. Once we have everything codified, we'll see where our gaps are and the opportunities are at, and then we can start filling them in appropriately. So this is a good path, though. I like this. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow morning for some more artwork. Thanks all for checking this stuff out. Like, subscribe, check out my books down below. Blah blah blah. Later.